Before the world echoed the name Miyamoto Musashi, before the duels, the victories, the legends carved into history, there was a man whose shadow shaped him. A man whose strength came not from fame, but from surviving hardships so brutal it would have broken ordinary men. His name was Samurai Munisai, Musashi's father, the forgotten blade master. His story begins with fire, a village swallowed by flames, screams cutting through the night, soldiers tearing through homes as smoke turned the sky black. And in the middle of that chaos stood a boy, barefoot, shaking, watching everything he loved fall apart. That boy was Munisai. He didn't understand the politics of war or why blood spilled so easily. All he knew was that life had chosen to test him before he even learned how to stand tall. That night carved a truth into his soul. To survive, he must become stronger than the world that tried to break him. When the smoke finally faded, Munisai was alone among the ashes. But fate was not done with him. An old sword master found him wandering, exhausted and scared. Without a word, the old man knelt and placed a wooden sword in Munisai's hands. "Strength is not given," he whispered. "It is built." Munisai held the wooden blade as if it were the first piece of hope he had ever touched. From that moment, he trained with the hunger of someone who had lost everything. Rainstorms, blazing heat, freezing mornings, nothing stopped him. While other boys slept, he swung his wooden sword deep into the night until his hands bled. At first, his strikes were driven by pain, then by anger, then by purpose. Every storm that soaked him only strengthened him. Every sunrise found him better than the day before. As he grew older, Munisai noticed something. Tradition was not enough. Everyone trained the same way, moved the same way, fought the same way. He wanted to break the pattern. He began experimenting with movement, speed, timing, eventually wielding not one blade, but two. Two swords flowing in perfect harmony, a rhythm of motion no one had seen before. The elders whispered about him. Some feared him, others admired him, but all of them recognized his rising genius. Word of his skill spread fast. Soon, the clan leaders called him to perform before them. Under their watchful eyes, Munisai breathed in, stepped forward, and unleashed a series of cuts so fast they sliced falling leaves in midair. His footwork was so smooth he barely seemed to touch the ground. When he finished, the silence that followed wasn't disrespect, it was awe. They knew they were witnessing a warrior unlike any other. But greatness attracts challenge, and challenge arrived in the form of the clan's undefeated champion, a towering samurai whose blade had ended many men. He demanded a duel. Munisai accepted with calm certainty. At sunrise, they faced each other. Two warriors, two destinies. For a long moment, neither moved. Then the champion sprang forward like thunder. A single flash of steel cut the air, and the man collapsed. The duel was over before the wind could carry the sound. Munisai did not celebrate. A blade master seeks mastery, not applause. Years later, in a small wooden home far from the politics of clans, Munisai held his newborn son for the first time. The boy's name was Musashi. Something softened inside him, something quiet and warm. He saw in the child's eyes not weakness, but potential. A spark of the same fire he once carried. And in that moment, Munisai made a silent promise. He would forge his son stronger than himself. Munisai began teaching Musashi long before the boy understood the world. He taught him how to stand, how to breathe, how to feel the weight of a sword without fear. They trained by the river as sunlight danced on the water. Musashi swung clumsily, missing the target, tripping over his own feet. But Munisai corrected him with patience and precision. Their bond grew without many words, strength communicated through discipline. But the world outside their home was not peaceful. Enemies watched from the shadows, rivals jealous of Munisai's skill, political foes who wanted him dead, assassins who whispered his name like a curse. One morning, their plotting became action. 3 assassins ambushed Munisai at dawn. They moved swiftly, too swiftly for normal men. But Munisai was not ordinary. He drew both swords in a single smooth motion. Steel clashed, dust exploded from the ground. One attacker fell instantly. Another hesitated and paid the price. The third managed to cut Munisai's shoulder, but pain did not slow him. In seconds, the forest returned to silence. But victory is never free. Muni sank against a tree, blood trailing down his arm. He breathed heavily, knowing the wound was deep. He would survive the day, but even the sharpest blade eventually feels the weight of time. Still, he continued training Musashi. A warrior protects his legacy until his final breath. One evening, Munisai called his son to him. His voice was weaker, his eyes tired but filled with fire. He placed his sword into Musashi's hands. "This blade," he said, "is more than metal. It carries discipline, sacrifice, truth. The world will challenge you, overcome it, and surpass me." Musashi felt the weight, not of the sword, but of destiny. Soon after, Munisai walked alone to a quiet hillside beneath an old tree. The sunset painted the world in gold. He knelt, letting the breeze move gently through his hair. It was the perfect place for a warrior to rest. The sky dimmed, the wind softened, and Munisai, the great blade master, took his final breath. When Munisai learned of his father's passing, he did not cry. He stood tall, picked up the sword his father left behind, and stepped into the world. Not as a child, but as the heir to a legacy forged from fire, pain, discipline, and unshakable will. Before the legend of Musashi began, there was the man who shaped him. The warrior history forgot. The blade master who lived, fought, and sacrificed in silence. This was Samurai Munisai.